Hello and welcome to Elite Pilates Teacher Training YMCA Level 3 Diploma course in Mat Pilates. This anatomy lesson today is on the scalene muscles. I'm Paul, I'm an instructor at Elite Pilates. So let's look at the scalene muscles, let's look at their origin and their insertion. Remember, as a general rule, what should happen is the origin tends to stay a little bit more steady or still, and where it inserts to usually moves more, as a general rule. So the scalene muscles are made up of three groups of muscles: the anterior scalenes, the scalenes medius, and scalenes posterior. Let's look at the anterior scalenes. Now the anterior scalenes, they're attached to C3, 4, 5, 6 and 3, 4, 5, 6, and they come, as you name it probably give away, anterior. They attach, they insert on the first and second rib. These ones attached to the first rib and the second rib, slightly going forward, anterior. And that's the anterior scalenes. So again, they attach to a lot of neck vertebrae, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and they attach to the first and second rib. So bear in mind the origin and the insertion, what you think its job is. One of the jobs, if that stays stable, which it should do, and there's this key, it's used in inspiration, or it can be used as in inspiration in lifting up the ribs to assist the rest of the respiratory muscles, and that's the anterior scalenes. Conversely, it can be steady and it can pull, especially if you go tight or go into spasm or contraction, they can pull the neck vertebra forward, just in the direction of pull. The next one is the anterior, the next one is the medius scalene muscle. As you can probably gather, that goes from C2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. It's the largest of the scalene group, and so almost all the neck vertebra, and it comes down medius, just slightly behind the anterior insertion, on the just on the first rib though. One of the issues here for this group of muscles, and there's a group of muscles, obviously you've got them on the other side, by the way, hopefully that goes there. You have one group on this side, you've got exactly the same anterior, posterior, medius on the other side. The brachial plexus passes through the medial scalenes, or the scalenes medius. Issue there is if this muscle goes into spasm, you can have like thoracic outlet syndrome, you can have nerve issues from the arm and other areas of the upper body, whatever the brachial plexus, mainly the arm, the shoulder and arm, that can be affected if this goes into spasm or if it goes tight, and that's the scalenes medius. Again, because it attaches to the rib, it inserts on the rib, it's tend to be used in inspiration. But again, action-reaction forces, Newton's third law, it can also pull the neck. It helps in lateral flexion, as does the anterior, and to some extent so the posterior as well. And because of where the insert, you just got to think, if that stays stable and it contracts, it's going to pull the neck. Slight rotation going on, but it's mainly lateral flexion that goes on with these group of muscles. The third muscle is the scalenes posterior, attaches to the 4th, 5th and 6th neck vertebrae, and it just comes slightly posterior to the other attachments, and that's just on the second rib. And again, it's used in inspiration, as well as helping step. And that's the key with all of these together collectively. Let's use an analogy, so I'm controlled here. Let's assume that's the neck. The head is actually quite heavy and quite large. Just imagine you have to put that up and you have to make it stable. Added to the fact that it's like the neck vertebra, it can wobble all over the show. And you've got a whole host of muscles, several from the anterior scalenes, medius scalenes and posterior on both sides. And their job, or partly their job, is to stabilize it. Now just look at it logically, if any one of these groups of muscles goes into spasm, bear in mind it's flexible, you can pull the neck in different positions. Bear in mind one of these attaches up here, so you can alter the neck where the head is and where the neck is as well. So they can be very, very problematic, and in shoulder positioning as well, especially if you've got spasm in the brachial plexus, in the scalenes medius, which impinges on the nerve. Because you've got what's called an antalgic reaction, where people hold themselves in a position due to pain, and it can be mistaken for disc issues when that happens in the brachial plexus nerve in the scalenes part, and that's usually the biggest problem, is the medial scalenes, or the scalenes medius. So that's what the type of things you'd be looking for in a postural assessment as well. What muscles are these? What could be causing what you're seeing? whether the head's over. It can cause, again, it's almost like a lordosis in the neck. If these are tight and pulling it forward, in conjunction with other muscles as well. So the head jutting forward position, like a lordosis, if these muscles are particularly tight. And again, they tend to be in people, and I use driving as the classic example. Let's use an extreme position of driving. The head jutted right forward, well, the anterior are going to be, well, even the medius, it's going to be tight. And you stay there for quite some, what you can do if you're driving, especially if you're long drives, stay in that position for quite some time. Also, the shoulders and the whole rib cage tend to get elevated, so the whole set of these muscles tend to be tight. So while we're driving, that's great. That's a bad position, but you understand what I mean. That's great in that position. It's when we come to do other things, action, reps and forces. As we then start to lower, it pulls and pulls and pulls and pulls. And where's it pulling? When you set your rib cage down, these ribs down, it's going to pull your neck out of position. I can pull it out of position in all sorts of different ways, different combinations, because again, it won't just be the scalenes that's affected by that. It's a whole host of other muscles, a big knock-on effect, which again, while we're after in Pilates, is good posture. And that's the scalene group, the anterior, medius and posterior. I'm Paul, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like, share and comment, and follow us on Facebook, Elite Pilates Teacher Training. I've got another page, Elite Pilates Services. And once again, thanks for watching.